Hi there. Welcome back to the Finley Formation. This is Brandon.
This Gage.
All right, man. We just got done with the draft. I was fairly unimpressed with what our Niners did. I liked our first couple of picks, but then I think after that, I don't know. I wasn't really impressed. What about you?
I didn't think they needed to go D line heavy. I know we needed to slide in a couple guys, but I really, especially in that top pick, there were so many. Or at pick 11, I think there was better options than Michael. I think he was the best edge rusher we could have got. I just think we could have gone corner, safety,
Yeah.
anywhere else but D line.
Right. And they really went on the defensive side of the ball. I think it
Mm-hmm.
was the five straight picks. I think we're 4 or 5 picks were straight defense.
Yeah, we had what 3 or 4 D linemen and a linebacker in the first
Yeah.
five.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. So anyway, I think other teams did really well, and I guess we'll just go ahead and start in on the elephant in the room, the Shadur Sanders fall.
you know,
Uh,
I was going through here and I actually got it down as one of my good picks
do you?
since with how far he fell at pick 144. I think he's a really good talent to be picked up at 144.
Okay. I'm actually, and it's nothing against him personally. I don't know Shadur Sanders. I don't know how the kid is. I've never met him to know what kind of personality he really is, but he does seem very cocky. Every interview he did, everything that you hear from him, I guess he was just really uninterested in all the interviews they did. Not all of them, but you heard a few.
Yeah.
And so it's like if he did two of them where they basically came back with the same, uh, I guess uh, like the same feedback from that
Yeah.
interview where they were like, yeah, he just felt like he's above it all. That's what I felt like.
Hmm.
He's above this whole process. Him and Dion were just talking the whole time about, only two teams are worthy of my son, stuff like that. And you hear all this stuff that came out of it and the way he talks, it's just like, man, I liked how they did it. I don't know if it was collusion. I just liked how teams were like, we're gonna step back from this kid for a while.
Yeah. I think I think it was going to be the Browns that were going to ruin it and pick him
Yeah.
eventually. I think him being a low pick is going to help them. It was a good landing spot for him, perfect place for him to go and destroy his career.
Yeah,
So
maybe. And it might be. And it's not that I wish him no luck. It's not like that. I'm not wishing him ill will, but
yeah.
like maybe this humbled him. Because there was no humility, no humbleness to what he was doing. And hopefully it humbled him a little bit and he realizes, hey, there was a lot of athletes, a lot of quarterbacks, a lot of people, including his dad, that came before me that paved this path, even in college ball. Okay,
Hmm.
you made millions in college because that's the way they changed the game now. But
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that you were the best college player. That doesn't mean you're the best prospect to come out. And I really think that this is going to be a problem going forward. Now, it
Hmm.
might not be as big as Shitter Sanders because I think that his name, everything that came along with it, all the hype they got at Colorado for really a mediocre win loss any program, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And
They still turn around a shitty program into a mediocre program. Like
right.
wasn't anything super crazy.
But I think that this is going to be a problem going forward, and I think the NFL had to do this. I think they had to make an example out of them. I really
Yeah.
do. So, and if that's not what they did, and they just basically individually decided that, I'm still glad it happened
Yeah.
because college kids are getting a way too big ahead on them. So,
And a lot of respect to those Ole Miss kids too. Them frat boys. Did you see that? That were did the prank call?
is that where they were from?
Yes, Ole Miss
Jeez.
frat kids were the ones that
Uh,
called in the prank
yeah,
call.
I'm kind of conflicted on that because it kind of sucks because it's like, oh, that's a big deal to mess with somebody, but at the same time, calls are funny as hell.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it just I don't know. I guess it'd be a high motion situation, but I feel like the way I just watched the video on it a couple times, I feel like guys sitting there all nervous. It's like his first time doing this call type of, he's talking to Dewar Sanders. Like, I think it was pretty easy to tell it was a prank call too if you just listen to the audio.
right. And I don't think he was too fooled by it from what it sounds like, but it's
Yeah.
it's kind of dude. I mean, how they got the number, they're gonna look into it, but yeah. Um, okay. I just want to get that out of the way. I'm sure everybody's already done the sure thing. Oh no, the one thing too is I wanted to mention was Mel Kiper the whole way through the
Wouldn't
draft.
shut up.
Oh my God, was he on fire about that, dude? He had an itch in his crotch so bad about that from the get go.
Yeah.
It was like he totally passed up on talking about Cam Ward, the number one overall pick, basically just to bitch about Shadur Sanders and talk about him, and like
Yeah, it
they
was
didn't
like
even
start
give
of the
flowers.
draft. He's talking about Shadeur, and it's like everybody knows Cam Ward's going one. Why are you already talking Shadeur?
Right.
Like we got 50 minutes till the draft. You're talking Shadeur, even though we know Cam's going to go. We know he's going to fall at least to 9
Hmm.
if he does get picked in the first round. We know he's going to fall 9. Why are you talking about him already?
Right. And by the fourth round, he was losing his freaking mind, dude. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I think he really hurt a lot of his credibility here.
Yeah,
Like, dude, just stop. Like
yeah,
he'll go when he goes. Just stop. Well, these 32 teams have proven over 50 years they don't know how to evaluate quarterbacks. Like, so have you. I mean, he was on Jimmy Clausen's jock and all these other players. It's like, dude, you screwed up. Like everybody messes up, but come on, man, you don't know it all either.
yeah.
It's like, let it go. I think he's gonna have a lot of egg on his face after this. I think it's gonna be,
Yeah, I wasn't a huge Mel Kiper fan either
yeah,
before it,
yeah.
but
He had some pretty good picks, but I mean, nothing. I think the other guy who I think he's now was the GM for the Raiders. If he's, I don't know if he still is, Jim Moran or what was the name?
something like that.
Anyway, yeah, he used to be with the NFL. I liked him a lot better, and I think everybody respected his opinions a lot more.
Yeah.
But okay, so enough with Shadur. What was your? So you already said one was one of your value picks. So that's kind of what we'll go is like who got draft value? Who's one of your value picks?
One of my value picks, I got, I mean, the biggest one would be Bo Johnson, probably falling to 47 to the Cardinals.
Yep.
I hate to see it because now we got to deal with probably Ayuk being guarded by Will Johnson, which will be
Hmm.
a hell of a matchup. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, the
it's
guy's gonna
such a
be.
talented corner. The only thing holding me back a little bit was his medicals. But with NFL training staffs, they should be able to get him back in shape. I know a lot of people suffer the injuries, and no matter how good the staff is, their body's just not doing it for them. But I think he'll come back, and I think he'll be in full swing, and I think he's going to be a menace for him.
Okay, yeah, I actually have him on one as well. So I'll go into it just a little bit more. Like I think he was the best true DB. We talked about this. Best
Hmm.
cornerback in the draft. True cornerback. He played well in 2003. I think he had 9 picks over his career. In the national championship year that they did, he played really well. I mean, and through that, I mean, he was just good. I think it. I have on here he checked Marvin Harrison Jr. He's checked Rome Odunze, held both of those guys, and those
Hmm.
were huge players coming out. Like they were
Yeah.
supposed to be a couple of the best. I think they were both went first round,
Hmm.
and so I mean, the guy did it, and he knows how to
Yeah.
play. And I totally agree with you. I have him down here. So just
Well,
to
and
kind of elaborate on that.
as good as he is in coverage, I think my favorite thing about him is his willingness to make a tackle and to sniff out the screens and hit them. And he's really good at tackling in open field and jumping reads and stuff like that. So yeah,
Right. I
he's a
like
hell
that
of a
one.
player. Got good instincts.
Okay, well, since we kind of agreed on that one, I'll go into another one that I have. I actually think I know this is a high draft pick probably for a tight end, but I'm still going to say Tyler Warren. I think the Colts got him at 14, and he
Yeah,
was the second tight end off the board. And as much as I like Colston Loveland, I think that Tyler Warren's better. I
I
think,
think so too.
and
Yeah.
I thought there was kind of a big gap between 1 and 2,
Hmm.
but the Bears disagreed and they came off and got Colston Loveland at 10, which I still think is a good pick, but I think they kind of jumped a little early for him.
I wonder if they're seeing something scheme wise too that
Hmm.
they think
Might fit
Colston
more
would be
Ben
better.
Johnson
Yeah.
because yeah, maybe he's a little more Sam Laporta for Ben Johnson
Yeah.
coming from the Lions. Uh, but I think he's they got good value with it. I think at 14 and falling to them was good value. I think great versatility, and he fills a huge need for the Colts too because they needed a tight end,
Yeah.
and they went and got I think the best tight end in the draft, and they were patient, they waited for him, and I did not expect the Bears to go tight end, but the Bears could have easily taken Warren as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, he fell to him, and I know that's kind of high for a tight end, but I really feel like Tyler Warren was a top 5 draft pick in my opinion. I think he's that good. So
Yeah. So I didn't write any first rounders down. I think most teams did really well in the first round. Looking at picks, I don't think there was a huge bust, and I think everybody got what they needed. I think Giants being able to trade back in at 25 and pick up Jackson Dart was huge, though.
mhm. Yeah, that one I think a lot of people are critiquing that one bad, but it's like I mean I guess if you really feel like that's your guy, and you think somebody else might do that, trade back up like the Browns or something might get in there. I'm okay with it though. I think yeah.
Yeah, I mean the fact that they didn't have to use their top 5 pick on him,
Hmm.
and then are able to trade it back in 25th overall and get possibly the best quarterback in this draft. I know
Right.
Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward's got a better baseline for sure, but I think Jackson Dart could be better in
Right.
the future. So
And he's pretty mobile. He's a mobile quarterback. And the trading back in, the Giants did not have to use their first round for next year,
yeah,
unlike the Falcons who traded back in behind them and did. And so, and they came back in for another pass rush. But I don't know. That was a surprise to me. They took 2 pass rushers in the first round.
yeah,
And I like both the players they got, but yeah, they had to use a first round to get back in, but the Giants didn't. So I think they made a better trade.
yeah. I agree.
I like that pick. That's a good one. Guy, I mentioned it. I texted you guys and I said the Niners need to trade back in and get this guy. And nope, they didn't. And Eagles traded up one spot to get him, and that's Jahad Campbell,
Yep.
linebacker from Alabama. The dude was a force in college, and I started looking into it even a little bit more when we did this. Guy had 183 tackles in 2 seasons,
Wow.
117 in 2024, and that's um, what how many games they play? Maybe 13, 14.
Yeah.
Over 117 tackles.
Yeah,
Uh,
because they didn't make the SEC championship this year, right?
yeah, I don't think they
So I
did.
think they played 13 because of a playoff game.
Playoff
So
game.
yeah,
Yeah, 5.5 sacks, 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, and 3 fumble recoveries, and 16 tackles for loss in 2 seasons.
see,
And I mean, the dude, he's a beast. He's going to be great for the Eagles. Again, a player falls to them. It's basically another Jalen Carter, and Jalen Carter is arguably he's top 3 defensive tackle in the league,
yeah,
and that guy fell to them as well 2 seasons ago. So I
yeah, they
mean,
haven't had to do anything crazy to get these insane
yep.
defensive players.
I think they were right to jump up ahead of KC because I
I
think
think
Kansas City
KC, yeah,
probably would have took him.
yeah,
So,
they probably would
but
have taken him.
he's probably my most value, and I know it's first round, but he's probably the highest value pick that I have
The
because
highest value pick you
I
got?
think that he could have easily went in the teens, and it's probably as high as the Niners,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. I
So
think it's funny because I think I'm between two guys right now. My highest value pick, and one is the Eagles pick at
mhm,
181
okay,
with that Kyle McCord out of Syracuse.
okay,
I know they got their Jalen Milrow, they got their guy, but I think Kyle McCord, he could come in. I think he's a starting caliber quarterback. I think he was highly underrated. Didn't play for a big program, so that always underrates guys. So I mean, he's gonna be a
and that
really
was
good backup.
Syracuse, you said,
Yeah,
yeah,
can be a really good backup for him. And could if Jalen Milrow wasn't on a big contract, I would say goodbye for a starting job. But Milrow's making, or not Mil, Hurts is making too much.
right,
Yeah,
okay, yeah, I like that one. Another guy that I have in the I thought was going to go in the first round, maybe early second. He ended up going with the 76 pick, so I think
yep.
that's
Siobhan Regal. That was the other
Siobhan
one I was
Rebel.
debating.
Yep,
Yep.
Siobhan Rebel Jr. He's out of I don't even think I put who he's out of.
Oh, he's East
Um,
Carolina, ain't it?
is that who it was? Yeah, I
I'll
think
look
you're
it
right.
up
East
again. I
Carolina
think
sounds
it's
right.
ECU.
Yeah, East Carolina. I mean, the dude was good. He went to the Cowboys. Cowboys got a good player here. I really thought he went in. He dropped all the way to the third round,
Yeah,
and
I
I
thought.
I thought first round. I actually thought he was probably the second or third best
Yeah,
cornerback.
yeah, I thought he's second or third
Um,
best when he falls to 76, and
he-
the Cowboys really needed it too.
right, he's a big-bodied guy, 6'2", 200, and
Mhm.
that's coming out of college, so that he could put on a little bit of weight. He's
Yeah,
probably going to,
I bet he'll come in at 215 come start of the season.
and I think he surprised a lot of people too because he ended up running a 4.40. So
Yeah,
that's a pretty big cornerback running that.
yeah. If he could keep that 4.4 speed and go up to 215, then he's gonna be trouble.
So this is a guy that can come in and he can cover some of your bigger wide receivers. He can stay on them, and he's not going to be a huge liability if he happens to get matched up against a tight end.
Yeah,
Because he's got a little bit of the safety size.
yeah,
He's like 6'2". So yeah, I was surprised. I can't believe he fell that far. I like that guy. I think Cowboys got a good one there.
yeah. I wanted the Niners to pick him with their second rounder, but oh, they had to go defensive line for the ninth time. Like, come on,
Right.
guys. But and then some guy I thought you would have mentioned by now, and I think we're getting places. And I want to mention Mike Green at 59.
Yeah, he fell far. Yep.
I definitely thought he was a middle of the first round guy. and he fell to 59 to the Ravens.
Yeah, and I think during the draft, Jared mentioned something about maybe off the field issues with
Yeah,
somebody. So I don't know. I still, if those don't, if they come to just to nothing, basically, they got a hell of a player in that steal. And who do you go to?
the Ravens.
The Ravens.
Yeah, that I'm kind of upset about it because they're stacked enough already. Now they got
You know,
hell of an edge rusher, but again, the allegations could change stuff. But
hmm hmm
yeah, if there's no allegations, he might be my highest valuable. Also,
right. So
there's a lot of high value picks. I think
if everything considered just skill wise and play wise, do you want Green or do you want Williams for the Niners?
I still take probably Micah Williams as much as I love Mike Green. I
hmm
think it's close, but I do think Micah Williams just more of a dominant force and
Yeah.
gonna fit into Robert Saldes
I was
better.
kind of wondering if I liked that pick right off the bat, but then I looked more into him, and yeah, the dude's he's pretty tough. I
Yeah,
mean,
he's a beast. Yeah,
right. So,
yeah. I did deeper dive into him after Niners picked him too.
mhm. All right. So another one, I mentioned this guy. I don't think he was like great value, but well, I think he is good value. It's Josh Simmons from Ohio State. He went to Kansas City at 32, and they just retooled their offensive line with that guy. I mean, they lost a big lineman to didn't he go to the Bears?
Yeah, that
And
sounds right.
so I mean, but this guy, I've mentioned these guys before when we've been working through our teams. The Joshes, it was Josh Connerly Jr. and Josh Simmons. Both of them ended up going at the end of the round. I think Josh Simmons was probably my second or third best lineman, and I expected him to kind of go in the teens. And then
Yeah,
when I looked into it even more to do this, the dude he moved bodies.
yeah, he
Yeah,
did. Yeah,
yeah.
he's a hell of a player.
So I think Kansas City got a hell of a pick there at the end of the round. So
Yeah, and then I mean Luther Burden on the 39. He landed on the Bears, which I think is a good fit for him, and it will help out Caleb a lot.
hmm
I mean, I think that's a good value pick. I want to say great value, but
right,
I think it was a good value.
I'm expecting a lot out of that Bears offense. Really, I mean, you got Caleb. He didn't have a terrible year. He really didn't.
Yeah, now you got two first round talent wide receivers.
hmm
I know Luther Burden ended up going the second, but I think he's a first round talent.
And yeah, Roma Dunze's there,
Yep,
and then they got the tight end, Colston Loveland,
yep.
and they stacked that offensive line for him in free agency. So yeah, I'm expecting a lot out of it. Ben Johnson did a really good job with the offense in Detroit. So
Yeah, and then he just built a hell of an offense in Chicago.
yeah, and
So
especially if these draft picks work out, and
yeah,
I think they will. I think Luther Burden's going to be really good. So
and then I think a pick that's going under the radar a lot, and I haven't really seen anything about it, is Quinn Ewers, the Dolphins, at pick 231.
hmm
Getting him that late, and I think he's going to come in, and of course, he's a developed guy. They still got Tua there, but he's going to be the best backup they've had in years
I think so
since
too.
Fitzpatrick times, probably.
Right, right. Yeah,
So,
yeah,
I
that's a
mean,
good one. I did look him up too to see where he ended up going, and yeah, I think it's a good spot for him.
yeah,
I think um, their coach was Brandon, not Brandon. Can't think of his damn name. I was thinking Staley, but that's not the right guy.
I can
Anyway,
see the face.
I know I can see him too, but the brain, yeah, my just name just slipped from my brain. But anyway, I think he's got a good offensive head on him. He's a good quarterback coach too. So I think, like you said, develop him over the next couple of years. He might end up taking that job from Tua. So.
Yeah, especially with Tua's head space right now.
Right. So I got some gems. Like we're talking, like you're going deep. I mentioned this guy. I drafted him on our draft in the second round. I'm really surprised that he fell as far as he did. Denzel Burke, Ohio State cornerback.
Yeah,
He dropped all the way to 174. Went to the Cardinals. So they've got two really good cornerbacks in this draft. He has great experience. I mean, the guy's played in I think 51 starts over 4 years.
yeah,
So he has hella good experience. 48 tackles, 2 picks, I think, this last season. So, I mean, I think he's 5'11, 190. So I think his speed is what kind of dropped him. He did a 4.48
ooh,
40.
at 5'11.
Yeah. So I think he didn't run well. I think that's why he dropped. But I think that if you look at tape and you look at what he does, I think he plays faster. But yeah, I think that dude is going to be good. And it was funny because I drafted him in round 2. I can't remember who I took him with, but I did draft him in round 2 of our pick, and I hold to that. I think he's a second round player. I think he's a second round talent.
Dude, it is
So
crazy though. I mean, like everybody was saying this whole draft, the strength of this draft was depth. 100%. There was second round talents that were still on the board in the fourth round just because they weren't second round talents in this draft.
yeah, yeah, it was pretty deep for every position. It seemed like, but quarterback, like as far as like actual starters and stuff too.
Yeah. And then a guy I just had to mention him because he was Mr. Relevant, and it's always awesome to see what happens with a Mr. Relevant. I think they actually got a good Mr. Relevant, the Patriots, in Kobe Minor, cornerback out of Memphis. He played 11 games. He had 38 tackles, 7 for loss, 2 sacks. So he's a blitzing DB. He had 6 pass deflections, 2 forced fumbles.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
he could get that ball out of there. It does seem like he could catch it, but he could get the ball out of there, and he has good instincts to make a tackle. So
Right. Nice. Another guy I mentioned on our draft, and I said, "Oh, I'm going to really blow your guys' minds with this guy. You probably never heard of him." And Zoff Frazier, another
mhm.
cornerback. I did go cornerback again. He went at 169. He actually went ahead of Denzel Burke, which I didn't think he was better than Denzel Burke,
No,
but I thought he was late second, early third rounder. He went to the Bears. They got another good player. He's good versatility. He's tall. He's got long arms. He's really fast. He did a 4.36 40, so he did a
yeah,
sub 4.4 40. That's fast. He gets there. He's been pretty productive. I've got 6 picks and 16 passes defensed. And he's from I think it's University Texas San Antonio.
yeah.
So it's just UTSA, which I'm pretty sure that's what we figured out that was. Uh,
UTSA Roadrunners.
yeah, and I really like that guy. When you look at him, I thought that would be a good place for the Niners to take him as well,
Hmm.
but they didn't end up getting him. I thought he was just kind of that. They like those physical cornerbacks too, and this guy's got some speed. So yeah, he's another one. Watch out for him. Watch out for those 2 cornerbacks I just mentioned. I think you're going to be hearing about them. I
Yeah,
really do.
yeah. Okay, so you got any bad picks? Did you
I
see anything where it's like, oh, this team really messed up here?
So I think that the reach that, and unfortunately, I think it's by our Niners. And I think it was just because of the grade they had on him. Hopefully, it proves me wrong, but I think that linebacker, who was it, Nick Martin?
Yeah,
I think that was a reach. I think they could have got him in the 5th round. I think they should have went O line there, in my opinion. I think there was better O linemen that had better value at that time,
yeah. Oh,
and so
pick 75, Oklahoma State linebacker Nick Martin. Yeah.
yep. And I hope that proves me wrong. I really do, but I think it
Not
was
to
a
mention,
reach.
Siobhan Reevil went to the Cowboys to pick after,
Yep.
so they could have got Siobhan Reevil, which I
Yep.
think would have been way better.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think linebacker's a big need, they're trying to replace Dre Greenlaw. But
Mhm. And if you were thinking, well, they didn't need cornerback, well, they went cornerback. Not I think with that Upton. Anyway, did end up going cornerback is what I'm saying. So if you
yeah,
were going to go cornerback, I think Siobhan Revel is the guy you probably should have done.
yeah,
And
I
then you could
agree.
have got Nick Martin probably with that pick. You got your cornerback at anyway.
Yeah.
I think he was going to keep falling unless they really knew something about other teams having a high grade on him. But I think it was a reach.
Okay, and one other pick I wanted to mention that I forgot to write down. That's a good high value pick. Cam Scadaboo belonged to 105 to the Giants.
Oh yeah, yep.
Dude, I think he was a first or second round talent. I mean, biggest thing holding him back is he's slow and what like 4.7,
Hmm.
4.8. So
Yeah,
he's slower running back, but he's going to get you 5 yards.
yeah.
You give him the ball, you got 5 yards guaranteed. Right?
Yeah, I think the Giants are going to probably try it. They're going to probably try the experiment of him at running back, but I think he's going to be an H back. He's going to be a fullback type of player.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
he's going to come in on 3rd and 3, 4th and 1,
yep.
stuff
Unless
like
they
that.
lean him up and he can improve on his speed a little bit. But
Yeah. So I think my biggest reach, though, if we're talking with, I think it would probably be Colston Lovely. So I
for the
do
Bears,
think,
yeah,
yeah, I do think he's second tight end in the class. They got him at 10. Tight ends, you don't really even need to pick that high all the time.
hmm
And they got him at 10. And like I said, maybe Ben Johnson sees it as better scheme fit than Tyler Warren, but still think even then, if they wanted to go with Colston, they could have traded back probably 16 or something.
right, yeah, yeah. I could see that one being a pretty good reach. I think I'm trying to think of that player. think it was in the second round. And I was just like, who the hell is that? Let me look it up real quick. Just remember during the draft, I was wondering.
Okay, well, I got one more to mention while
Yeah,
you
go
find that.
ahead.
So, oh man, now I lost it too. Um, oh yeah, this guy, and I know you would like him. It's that NDSU guy, Gray Sable,
Oh yeah,
going to the Seahawks. I absolutely love that the Seahawks took him
you
because
really,
we could go 3 deep and we're going to torch this guy.
really,
Yeah,
you
I
you
could
really
go
don't
out there
like
and
him,
beat
huh?
this guy.
That's
Like
funny.
I could go out here just run right around this guy. So
Yeah, that's funny. I don't think so. I think he's going to be good. I think he's got some power. I
I
don't know if he's necessarily first round talent, but I don't think it was
I think he's
huge.
undrafted free agent talent.
Wow. Yeah, that's a big take, dude.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, how often do you see an FCS guy go in the first round and not be an insane reach, though?
yeah. I mean,
Every single time one goes to the first round. I can't tell you an FCS guy who went the first round that's good.
that panned out. I don't know. I can't think of any right off the top of my head, but if I had to, I guess we could probably go deep. But no, I mean it's fine. I know that you've mentioned that before, and that's definitely going to be one of those wait and see types.
Yeah, because, I mean, I see what they're saying if you watch the film. He's a hell of a player, but he's also playing FCS guys. You
Right.
throw him out there against Michael Williams, he's getting torched.
Well, not to mention when they got him, I think at least like I mentioned him already, but I think Josh Simmons was definitely there, and I think
Yep.
Connor Lee Jr. was there.
Yeah, they got him at 18.
Yeah, so I think
Yeah.
they had better linemen that they could have picked for sure, for sure.
Yeah, so after him, Donovan Jackson to the Vikings, Ohio State guard. I
Hmm.
think that would have been a better pick. Of course, I think every offensive lineman drafted in this draft was a better pick. But
Yeah,
if you just want to go with the guys that are drafted in that round, yeah, Josh Connerly, Josh Simmons, and Donovan Jackson.
right. And I was kind of surprised that Tyler Booker came off. What he
Super
come off?
early, huh?
Yeah, he
Like,
was like 13 or 12 or 13. It was
yeah,
quick. The guy I was thinking of was Quinshon Junkins. It's not that I hadn't
Junkins,
heard of
yeah,
him, but I was like, wait, what? Because the Browns took him at 36. And I think he was the third running back taken because I think Genty went, Omarion Hampton went,
and then it was Quinchon, yeah, and
and
I
then it
thought that
was
was super
Junkins.
weird too.
I was like, really? Because he's not, in my opinion, he wasn't even the best Ohio State running
That's
back.
what I was about to say. And then Travion Henderson fell to the Patriots 2 picks later.
Yeah, and I thought Travion Henderson, I think he's going to have the better career,
Yeah,
period.
I think
But
I think he's a better back, but
they were talking about Quinshon Junkins being pretty explosive, and he was, and they split carries, so their numbers were a little bit lower. But yeah, I thought Travion Henderson was way better. I thought Quinshon Junkins was probably my eighth or ninth. I could have I liked a lot of guys ahead of him, really. Uh, so I mean that man, my brain ain't working, but yeah, like RJ Harvey, I liked him better.
yeah,
You start getting into some of these other running backs, and it's like, what was that pick all about? So, yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't, I was like, him, that's who you're taking. But I'm kind of glad that I like the approach that the Browns took to this draft, though.
dude, yeah. Actually, I think they did. I think they did really well. I
Mhm.
think it's like the first draft I could look at the Browns had and be like, wow, you guys kicked ass this one.
Yeah, and the only thing that about them is I think taking two quarterbacks, right? Because I think they took Dylan Gabriel
And Stewart,
and Shadur Sanders. So it's kind of like, all right, you did good. I thought when they took Dylan that was not going to be a home for Shadur. And I'm not saying that it did, he did fall to them pretty low. So it's not a terrible pick to try him out.
yeah, because they got him 50 picks
But
after Dylan. I like it actually. I mean, I know they already have a whole lot of money tied up their QBs.
mhm,
But you bring in 2 young guys, and I think right now you're looking at a competition between Dylan Gabriel and Shadur Sanders,
yeah, I
and they
mean,
just got to make a pick.
yeah, and then Flacco, who's going to be
Yeah,
there, and they have some tutelage there. So I think both of those guys make the roster. I really do. I don't think that they're going to let Shadur Sanders go unless he does something just terrible or
I bet they both sign a contract, and maybe even after OTAs and like their camps with other teams, maybe they let Shadur show off a little bit or Dylan show off a little bit and get a trade value out of one of these two.
yeah.
After maybe you do find some hidden skill in one of these 2 guys and they ball out a little bit, maybe find a trade
Yeah,
piece.
maybe if one shows off during a preseason game or something, I get what you're saying there.
Yeah,
But I think the odd man out in all this, unfortunately, is probably going to be Kenny Pickett. I don't see him being able to make the roster. I think maybe even Joe Flacco, maybe both of those guys. I would like to see them just cut and release and get away from what's his name, the massage guy.
Deshaun.
Yeah, Watson. Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
like to
but
see
if
him
they
just cut him and get away from him, but
the amount of
unfortunately,
dead money there is insane.
yeah, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to still probably give him a chance to make the team, and I think he's good enough. His skill wise is there, but man, did he? He played like crap last season, so we'll
And I
see.
think his biggest issue is his head, man.
Yeah.
He needs to go back to the massage parlors, I guess, because he was falling out before all those accusations
Before
came
that,
out.
yeah, got a little backed up now.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, yeah. Another guy I just want to mention real quick, defensive tackle Joshua Farmer. Again, went to the Patriots at 137, a Florida State defensive tackle. Man, he's good. He's versatile. 6'3", 275. So he's a little light in the ass for a straight DT. But you could put um, some weight on him. He could easily put on another 25, 30 pounds. He has a lot of experience. He has a career 80 tackles, 21 tackles for loss, 11 sacks in 42 games.
Yeah.
And I like that he's versatile because it does have him as like defensive end, defensive tackle type of players. And so I saw him really good. I think the Patriots drafted really well too.
Dude, I think the
So
Patriots are a playoff team. Man, I
mhm.
think I think their picks are gonna hit. Of course, you don't know until they start playing. But I think they had a kick ass draft, and I think they're a 10-win team now.
Yeah. Yeah. And we won't know. And hopefully we'll come back to this. We'll say I told you so, or we'll even be humble enough to come back on and say, hey, yeah, we were wrong about that guy. He did end up sucking and he was a 5th round pick. So
Yeah, you
um
can't find it anymore. But there was one of those moments we had to do with like our second ever episode with the Cowboys, and we'll be
oh
humble
yeah.
if we have to.
Yeah,
But
yeah, we'll come back. We'll come
yeah,
back to this episode and try to figure this out. And I think we're going to try to get Jared's takes on some of the guys on his next episode we have with him. Probably ask him a little bit about what he thinks about it. He wasn't able to be with us today, but yeah, we appreciate you joining us. And yeah, I hope the draft went well for your team. Some teams made out pretty good. Some teams didn't. I guess that's one thing. Maybe. What team do you think? I think the Patriots probably had the best draft in my mind.
yeah, I think it's really hard. Uh, I know because they didn't have a whole lot of picks. I thought the Vikings actually did good with what they had.
Mhm.
But I think my favorite overall, because they had the amount of picks to have a good draft, was the Panthers.
Yeah, they did well.
I think the Panthers are a hell of a contender now. I think you even texted me about them being a playoff team now,
Yeah, because
possibly.
it was Amika, right?
Hmm.
They went ahead and took a shot on that guy, and I like that pick because they needed a good wide receiver there. So
Yeah,
okay, all right, you got our takes. We'll see, and they're both teams that were down. They both had high picks, so we'll see how they do next season. And I like them. I think the future's bright for both of those teams. So all right, thanks for joining us.